Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome to the Fantasy Forecast for Saturday, March 12th, 2016. We're all freelance now here. We're not using scripting, we're not doing anything, and the reason why we're starting to put these out later, right next to the lock, is because of all the god-darned injury news. What are you going to do, right? The injuries lately have ruled it. If you haven't been on top of the injuries lately, you've been kind of just... You've been really hurting, and I'm really sorry for you guys. You need to be, like, if you're going to play DFS in this time of the NBA season, to be quite honest with you guys, if you're not prepared to be, like, available during the 10 to 15 minutes right before a lineup lock, you could just, like, lose your whole ass. So, guys, I know some of you have good professions. This is a time to, if you're going to play it, play on injury news that you already know when you're looking for the value, and just stick with it and go there because you don't have the time to like jump on. I understand that. That's why I aim cash entries that way. When you guys see later on, you'll see why my cash entries aim the same direction. You know, you go for the floor players instead of the high ceilings because you don't know where value can unexpectedly open up and really kill your lineup. If somebody costs $3,500, like for Curry here on the first optimal that we're going to talk about, if someone else opens up at $3,500, and I think there are a couple choices, to be quite honest, there are a lot of injuries today, guys. You're going to look at New Orleans for injuries. You're going to look at Memphis, of course. Like their whole team, like I keep saying a JV team, and the reason why I keep saying their Memphis is a JV team is because they have no one left. Everyone is freaking injured. They have the worst luck in the world besides Oklahoma City on a personal side note, you know, with the deaths that have been striking everyone within their organization. Obviously, I feel sympathy for that. You know, horrible luck and injuries play into the DFS situation. You guys don't really care if someone sits or plays or not, and because you don't know if their brother got shot or not or anything like that. So it's kind of like with the I'm referencing Dion Waiters here with Oklahoma City, but those are situations that if you catch it right at the last moment and you know some extra minutes might be distributed in another direction, that can propel your lineup ahead. Real fast, yesterday's results were a 312 for anyone that played it. I'm not going to show the winning cash parts. I'll just show the very first part right here. It's easier. 312, first in the league, which was nice. That was yesterday's recommended cash lineup, and I believe it was enough to actually win a GPP as well. You're going for a floor with cash, guys. This is the whole point. You're going for... there's a difference between a tournament entry where you're going for, oh, this guy can get this, oh, this guy can get this, versus this guy is going to get this. If you guys look at your lineups right now that you have in there and say, he's going to get this, and just reconvert it around, you know how you all project your scores at 400 points, 410 points, or whatever because you're doing that optimistic number and this is the way the game could go? Do it the other way as well, guys. It makes sense. Look at what's the worst he can do. And you'll see if you're playing a lottery ticket or if you're playing a good chance at trying to get cash. That's the way of telling a difference between a cash entry and a GPP entry. And I'm going to show you guys a difference here. I did a cash and a GPP sample. The GPP sample is just a sample. I'm not saying I'll run that, but I will run my cash just like I normally do, like I did here. So, moving on. This is Roto Grinders' optimal lineup for today. Let me pull this real fast. I'll go through their stuff and I'll tell the projection. At point guard, they have Curry and Mudiay. Real fast, I'll explain these. Curry's playing in the highest scoring game slate today, you know, total projected according to Vegas. I believe it's around 226, 227. And that's always helpful for fantasy scoring. The thing that scares me about this game, though, guys, and you have to be quite honest about it, if you're not like really paying attention, I mean, Golden State against Phoenix, that's probably a blowout. And it's 21 points on the spread in Vegas. Players that end up sitting in the fourth quarter entirely need to do all their scoring in the third. So Curry isn't truly a really high ceiling play today if you think about that. Now, if you think the Suns are somehow going to ball and stay in it, I mean, Curry, he's all over the map. The guy could go for 65 today. It could be nuts. But it's a tournament-only kind of play, in my opinion, even though they have this in their optimal cash lineup for today. Real fast, what did they have this projected at? Let's see here. Give me a moment, guys. I'm working on very little sleep and time. They projected this at 324 for Roto Grinders. Moving on. Next optimal is from Roto Wire. Roto Wire is projecting this one at a 300 and 3 something. I don't even know. 300 and something, to be quite honest with you guys. I know it's not in the picture, and I don't have time to look back. They have Curry and Jackson at the point guard. You guys can always pull them up on the web. You have Thompson and Oladipo. Depot's a nice play against Portland. I mean, Orlando's been also plagued by the injury bug. Klay Thompson is a play at those high score points. Going back, Curry, I explained to him. Reggie Jackson, against the Sixers, almost anyone's a good play. I mean, I believe they're favored by around 8 to 10 points, and Detroit is probably still going to win, even though I would expect that game to be among the lower scoring totals of the day. And it's probably a sneakier play, I'll be honest. There's a lot of choices at point guard today. Okay, and we had Thompson and Depot at shot guard on Roto Wire. We have Barnes and Barnes, both Barnes, and there's cases for both at small forward. Harrison Barnes, again, highest scoring total game, and if you think it will be a blowout, this would be the kind of guy at 4,100 that might play the minutes anyways in the blowout. Matt Barnes at the bottom is the simple play of, hey, Memphis has no one left, and Memphis stacks have won a couple as of late. I believe I've seen triple stacks with him and Stevenson, so you've got to be aware of like all these injury updates. You know, New Orleans, Memphis, everywhere. Philadelphia today has a great value on it. The Sixers, yeah, they're in a worse matchup, but they've lost 3 of their players yesterday all of a sudden. So there's immediate value that opened up because FanDuel doesn't adjust the salaries the same night. Okay, moving on. We have power forward. We have Harris and Ibaka. Harris against the Sixers, I love it. There's a great choice. Ibaka. The game started out higher total and started moving under quickly. Vegas thinks it's going to be pretty high, but San Antonio's one of those types of teams where, and Oklahoma City again losing waiters, all you have is Westbrook and Durant. And you guys, if you notice the way they play, those two can play off each other, but they tend to use a facilitator in between them. And that guy is usually waiters, the guy that doesn't normally like show up on this, that we don't normally take, but he kind of runs. And it's been hurting both of their scores lately, if any of you guys have noticed that. But regardless, my computers have noticed it. And then lastly, at center, we have Howard against Charlotte. Not a bad play with a decent over-under total. So good job, RotoWire. Sorry I can't give you a projection on that, guys. Moving on. This is RotoQL. I know you guys liked them. I'm just going to move. I skipped the other one out and just took care of them because we're done. No one cared in the comments. We have Dragic and Mudiay. I believe they projected this around 337. Dragic and Mudiay. Dragic is an interesting case there. He plays on a slower team, but the scoring and the numbers are definitely there. Same with Booker. Even in blowouts, the guy seems to still pull out his 35 fantasy points. So he could be a really nice play today. Stevenson at shot guard, like I said, with the Memphis situation. Luol Deng, I think Butler's still out. Wade is playing, I believe. That might ding his value a little. Alphabet's going to be a great play against New Orleans. I won't deny it. The question is he going to get 40 or is he going to get 60? And there's a range there. I think it's more GPP for me. I don't think it's flory at the price, but that's my words and terminology. Jermichael Green, excellent spot, even raising 1,800. The guy really put up value yesterday against it. I mean, and value on slates like yesterday were worth it. You wanted value yesterday. So if you took him, you weren't crying. Aldridge, so their scoring is going to come from Aldridge and Leonard. So, you know, in Vegas thought it would be around 217, even though it's dropped around 215, 214 now. So, yeah, you know, it's a gambly play in my opinion, but it could really pay off. Jokic is really nice. Jokic's in one of the highest scoring games on the slate when you think about it with Washington and Denver that's playing even. So that's kind of a nice play because you might get overtime. If it ended up blowout one way or the other, you're going to get screwed on that. This is where Vegas can really screw you guys up. But it happens. But, you know, we don't worry that and we move on. We try to investigate our best plays and build our best lineups because that's the way to do it. Okay, this one right here. I skipped Fantasy Pros. I believe this one right here is, yep. This one is Daily Fantasy Cafe. We have Westbrook and Bayless. Bayless is going to get extra well, Bayless is, he's cheap, but look at his stats, guys. I don't think the ceiling is really there. I don't think the guy's ever going to run you for 40. Solidly, he's going to give you 15, 20, but anyways, moving on to Barton. Again, it's a good game. The question is he the player? He could be the player that runs for 50. He might not be, but, that's also there's skill and there's luck. You don't really know who's going to have the hot hand on a team, but he is playing in that high-scoring game, like I said, that's projected to be even, so that's a nice play. Harden has an incredible floor, though. It's a good opponent, good matchup on all the rankings and everything, and he's the guy today that's going to... he could go for 60, 65, 70. I think you're looking at just a range, right? You're looking at 50, but it's a good 50 at the 11. So you have Barnes and Batum. Let's see, Barnes at it's a high-scoring game, and they're just kind of projecting a little higher. Maybe he plays in the blowout. You have Batum against Houston. That's also a higher-scoring game, and Batum's in a nice slot against Houston. They really can't defend the small forward too well. Power forward, you have Teletovic and Harris. Harris is a great play against the Sixers. It just is. I think I mentioned him once already before. It's not necessary. There's still good plays on a big slate all over the place, guys. You're going to have to pick the right ones. Teletovic, that's again a play at even if it's a blowout, he's still going to get in there and get some time. And Alex Len, I think he's going to be highly owned, guys, because people have been on him and at the price I think it's really, but sometimes you don't fade that. I mean, he seems to play even in the blowouts, and if he sits in the last fourth, though, he's still got 36 points or 38 points, and he's still paid value and plus, so you're happy. All right, moving on to my cash lineup. For today, we have my recommended cash is Wall and Ish Smith. And the reason why we have Wall is I'm targeting the Washington-Denver game, and I think Wall might be the best high-dollar choice on the slate today besides Davis. I'm not entirely sure, but, that's the... I think Wall has a great floor and good upside, without question. So that's why you choose him in cash. Same with Ish Smith. You know that there's going to be scoring in the game no matter what, and he's really the best scorer on the team now that three players like Covington and I'm forgetting all their names right now, but they've all been knocked out. You lost three at once. So Holmes and one more. Regardless, you want Ish. There's going to be scoring, and he's probably going to have to pick up the workload. There's the last high-priced dollar guy somewhat on the team. Harden for the floor, I mentioned him before. Stevenson, he's going to get run no matter what, guys. They have no one left, and he's really the only guy who can kind of dribble the ball, so I really like him on that aspect. Fournier, they've been hit by the injury bug as well against Portland, and he'll probably see run for sure. We're looking for minutes usually on cash, guys. Same with Matt Barnes there. I mean, I'm not looking for the performances these guys put up last night. I'm looking more just hit. If they got half the performances they got last night at these prices, I'll be happy. Aldridge, same type of scoring. They're going to get the scoring from Aldridge and Leonard, so hopefully, half of the majority comes from him, and we're good there, even at the 8,000 price, and we spent it well. Landry is starting tonight based on the Sixers injuries, so we're going to take him too. And we're going to hope that he runs us for 20, 22 points, gives us 6 times value. And then we have Jokic at the bottom. It's a high-scoring game, guys. I think he's going to be somewhat forgotten among the good choices at center today. I could be wrong. Anyways, that's our recommended cash entry. And for a tournament. And the reason why we talk about tournaments being different is because you think something might go different. So Curry, if Phoenix somehow stays in a bit, and kind of keeps with them a little, and Curry plays a real good run of minutes, well, if it is as high scoring as Vegas says it is, Curry is going to give you 65, 70. It's going to be insane. Tony Douglas, point guard against the Bucks, guys, and with starting minutes, okay, I'll take that. All day long. Depot, like I said, they got the injury bug too, so I'm aiming that with Fournier in the small forward there at the bottom. In the middle, we have Barton at shot guard, the second one. And Barton, because, again, the game is supposed to be somewhat even, and I think that someone might get the score. As I told you, he could get the 50, and this is a could-be lineup. Matt Barnes against Atlanta, and Memphis has been playing so well with their JV team. So, I like him again to do a decent performance again above value that we're expecting, which is okay, I have to have him slotted again. Anthony Davis has a ton of upside. He also has a ton of downside, but his floor tends to be there if he sees his time, and he's in a good position against the Bucks. It's still a good matchup for him. New Orleans has no one else to go to but him and Holiday now, so and Holiday, he doesn't have the ceiling. His price is lower, and it seems like his floor is a bit higher, but he just doesn't have the true ceiling to propel your lineup. And at the same time, Davis at his 10 per 3, he's like almost going to give you 40 no matter what. So it's like, okay, cool. You have Landry down there, I've mentioned him before, and then you have Drummond at the bottom. I think Drummond's in a good spot against the Sixers today. They're a worse team, and they really can't. I think he's in a good spot to pick up a lot of rebounds, which is good on both sides. I know you guys follow that, even though I'm doing FanDuel. I know some of you do DraftKings, and I've been thinking about doing that as well. All right, so those are your cash and GPP lineups for today. I'm just going to focus right back on cash again. The gift card getaway is going to be for, or whatever the giveaway, it's going to be for a FanDuel credit. So I will announce that on Twitter and on the comments or on the next video. I'll make sure that everyone that follows here and not on Twitter gets noticed somehow. And you might want to check the comments, guys, or make sure you subscribe for notifications or whatever, so you can win that FanDuel credit for yourself. Okay, and that's for reaching 100 subs. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry it's out so late, but it's also because we're dealing with all the injury information. Remember, there's a lot of good values out there today, guys. Okay, have a great day. Love you all. Go out there and go win some money. Bye bye.